Today is Tuesday, October 10th, 2017. This is a municipal caucus meeting. I had a scheduled 5:30 p.m. start. The clock on my cell phone is showing 5:38. May I have a roll call for the commencement of this caucus? Councilperson Kajewski?
Here.
Councilperson Gatson?
Here.
Councilperson Baggiano?
Here.
Councilperson Young?
Here.
Councilperson Osborne is not here. Councilperson Robinson?
Here.
Councilperson Rivera?
Here.
Councilperson Waterman?
Here.
And Council President LeVar.
Here.
We have 8 council members in attendance, and we are ready to roll. I'm going to turn it over to the Council President.
We offer our condolences to City Clerk on the passing of his sister. Take a moment of silence for that. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Let's do one more time. What's the big deal?
Another one.
Yeah, do another one.
So let's get started. We have Mary Ann Keller here. She's here for a late item, 10Z1, and then also with questions related to 4E, if you have questions on a second reading ordinance. 4E, if you still have questions related to that.
And 10Z1.
But let's...
That was on top of your package when it first came in. So we go to 10Z1 first.
10Z1?
So 10Z1. Sorry. It's a resolution authorizing contracts with various vendors for the delivery of substance abuse prevention and education programs for the Department of Health and Human Services through the Municipal Drug Alliance Program.
Routine in nature.
Routine in nature.
Missing a purchase order number, but that'll be available tomorrow.
If it's not there, it'll be pulled.
Certified the funds were signed by...
It was done today? So that means the purchase orders are
Yeah.
done.
I just got the last 3 of them delivered today.
Get a man. Great job.
Okay,
Does anyone have any questions?
4E is a second reading ordinance. It's essentially establishing the committee, the Municipal Alliance Committee, by ordinance, whereas before it was just kind of appointed by either by the mayor, executive order, I guess, committee. And this is being done in accordance with state requirements, correct?
Yes.
Any questions about that while Mary Ann is here? Okay, hearing none, thank you.
All right, next.
Next, we have David Donnelly, who's here for an item, question not related to the agenda. So I think it's Councilman Young, you had a question?
Councilman Young, at the last caucus, you mentioned some stuff.
Plans. Can you explain to, by district, how many actually building JHRA took over, and what happened, all those that get developed, and who is the contractor? And if you have a contractor to pick up...
I wasn't expecting that. Those weren't the questions that were relayed to me, but so I can certainly pull some of that stuff together. But this is what redevelopment plan you're discussing? This scattered site, so I can give you a brief overview of how the scattered site redevelopment plan works, because we have a couple different lists throughout the city. Please understand that the city does not own any of these properties. That kind of is my mantra, that we do not own these properties. So what happens is that we have a vacant registration list for the city, of which Director Coleman from Housing Code Enforcement, what's the word I'm looking for? He maintains that list and that registration status. Okay. When people don't register their properties or they don't follow through with their maintenance plan, we then begin to move the properties to what we call the Abandoned Properties Rehabilitation Act list.
Okay, so how many buildings that belong to that category now?
Right now we have about 23, we're looking to add, I'm looking to hopefully add in the next year about 100 to that list. Those inspections are pretty intensive. They take time. Now, when we add a property to the APRA list, it just puts the owner on, it's another, kind of raises the bar to the owner and says to the owner, like, listen, either you're going to start to do something about this property, or we're going to start to move further. And then, after we move it to APRA, we can move it to what we call the scattered site redevelopment plan, and that we use two things. We use both local redevelopment housing law and the APRA law to potentially condemn the properties that are on that list.
Right.
Now, a lot of times, like for instance, at the beginning of this year, we had, please don't quote me on these numbers because I have to go back and through. So we had approximately 57 properties on the APRA list. By just moving them to the APRA list, we've come down to 23 because we've stayed on top of the owners. The owners have actually done something. They've rehabilitated the property, and somebody moves in. We do not take a property off of the abandoned properties list until that building is considered what we call building, easy for me to say, I'll slow down, building systems ready. That means it's this close to having a CO.
Okay.
Okay, and that's the only way we'll remove it from the list.
So last stage, how many buildings on the last stage then now?
Right now, 23. I'm looking to add, about 23. I'm looking to add approximately another 100.
Right to us. So I'm going to send to a detailing. I'm the requested now.
Can you send me your questions directly because then I can answer them for you. And you have my email. Okay, that would make it easier because.
Now, yeah, I'm going to send an email. That's easy for you. Okay.
Now, in your ward, there's one particular property I think that you're probably interested in, and it happened in a very different manner. 671 Palisade. Is that the property that you're concerned about?
Yeah.
Okay, so 671 Palisade Avenue for the City Council is a property that has been vacant for a long time. Sink Navy. Yeah, there was, and nothing that my office did or nothing that the city did was incorrect. It was the sheriff's office, and they didn't do anything wrong either, but stuff was moving on two different tracks. We began condemnation proceedings on 671 Palisade with the New Jersey Community Capital to take that building. We literally filed our notice of taking in March of this year. Was it last year? We filed it. We filed the notice of taking, and shortly thereafter, the sheriff's department began to foreclose upon the previous creditor. For somehow in the registrar's office, those two notices crossed each other, so we had to go to court. And I think the judge was incorrect, but he's still the judge, and we didn't feel like appealing it because it would have cost us a lot more money. The judge ruled with the sheriff's department and said the foreclosure had to go through. So we wound up in settlement talks. So right now, the owner of 671 Palisade Avenue is not my designated developer, it's somebody else. But we arranged to have a redevelopment agreement with that owner. Now, we closed a little bit later than I would have liked. He has a construction schedule that we're a little bit behind on, but he should be starting rehab within the next 30 days of that building.
David, with all due respect, how you follow the rules and regulation?
I follow them.
Yes, because that I respect for that. Even though we a lot of things to disagree, but I know that one thing, admit that you do a great job for the product. But now, this is a concern with general public. It's not my concern. Yeah, general public concern is the select of the designated developer for those buildings, those units. That's the key. So a lot of people on the street talk about some rumors going around as usual in Jersey City. So I like to know that when you select a designated developer, what kind of qualification they have.
And so we have an application. I can show you the application that we asked for.
The designated developer must have to provide list of shareholders. If we LLC, they have to provide.
Yes, they do.
Yes, all those things.
That's all in the application. Yes. I can show you the application, what we require.
That's what I'm saying. As long as you provide those things, I can tell the general public who has a questioning the selected designated.
Yeah, so I can show you. Would you like to see the questionnaire? I don't have it with me, but I will send you an electronic version of our questionnaire that requires all of those things.
Okay. So I'm going to send an email to all the detailed information I'd like to have. Yeah. And actually not me, the general public want to know. I'm going to send to you, okay?
Okay.
All right, sir. Keep the Google.
No, you can go. Before we start, I have two things I want to bring up.
Okay, let's let Chris address his question to David.
Yeah, I need to get a list of properties that we own, the agency owns. I will get that to you. Yes, this week. That's not a problem, sir. I apologize.
Okay, before we proceed with the rest of our business, Councilman Bogiano.
All right. Yesterday, there were 30 construction sites in this city being worked on. When I called the police department, they said they can work. I called, there's no inspectors available, the city's closed down. This is a major city. This city never should be closed down totally. Now, here's the thing. On a federal holiday, state or city, all three were Columbus Day or the parade, they are not allowed to work without special permits. My phone started ringing at 7 o'clock in the morning by people being disturbed from a few sites. And this is a shame when nobody in this city knows that they can't work on a holiday. They have to have a special permit. That's number one. And when I say I called everybody around, I don't think I called you, Joe, but I don't think I called you, did I?
No, we texted back and forth.
Oh, okay. But this is ridiculous when nobody in this city knows what's going on and about permits. And the second thing is, I was driving down Baldwin Avenue and a dog ran out and almost got hit by a car with the traffic heading northbound. My daughter jumps out of the car, grabs this Benji dog, and we put it in the car. It was evidently a stray. I go down to the animal shelter. They tell me, oh, we can't take them. You have to go through, you have to get the special, what do they call those people?
Animal control?
No, the animal control. I said, what, are you kidding me? I said, how about I go outside and let the dog loose and he gets killed? Is that what you want me to do? I told her I was a council person in Jersey City. They didn't want to know nothing. Finally, she says, you got to get an animal control person. We walk out, and out of the back, they told me, there comes an animal control person. I told them what was going on. They took the dog. We're giving them a lot of money, and I'll tell you, the services are getting worse. Another thing, I'm walking around Hopkins Avenue the other night, a woman's feeding a cat, and she was putting them in a cage, taking them to get spaded. She has to travel to Western Jersey to get the animals spaded. Of course, we don't do it here in Jersey City anymore. We're probably the largest city in the state of New Jersey, and we don't do things like this for the people. And she said to me, I got to travel out to this place here because Jersey City doesn't do it anymore. We're giving them a lot of money, Rolando, and this has to stop. We're not a rinky-dink town.
To me, I'm not quite
No,
sure
I'm
why.
saying, they have to,
I'm in charge of operations.
we're giving them a lot of money, and they have to start taking care of the people.
Okay, Bob Kay, Business Administrator?
I'm taking notes.
Okay, so now, the holiday construction actually, enforcement belong to the mayor, it's not the city council. So they should have some kind of a person by scheduling able to provide enforcement and even holiday.
I will work with the construction code official to see what his schedule, I mean, it'd be his responsibility to monitor the projects. I'm surprised that he didn't have someone on duty, but I will check with him.
And the second one, animal control. Because when we give to animal control the job, they supposed to provide 24/7 service. You know what I'm saying? But they are not. And we give the total, how much? Almost $1.2 million now?
I will check with Director Flanagan to get those terms enforced.
So now, who is oversight at the animal control? At the,
Health and Human Services,
that's done?
Health and Human Services still manages the contract. Yep, I took all the notes. Thank
So
you.
before the renewal time, we gotta bring all those concerning, no?
Yeah, I'm trying to answer you quite.
No,
Okay.
it's a shame, Robert, when you have an animal and they don't want to take them. You have to see an animal control agent. That's wrong. That's the shelters there to take dogs off the street.
I agree.
That's right.
All right,
You are obstructed.
back to our agenda. We have Joe Cunha here. He has 10Z.
Is a resolution authorizing the award of a contract with Smith Sadi Asphalt Construction Company for the resurfacing of various streets, NJDOT FY 2015 Municipal Aid Project Number 15-008-E for the Department of Administration, Division of Engineering.
Good evening, council. Thank you, Sean. Yes, this is, I'm seeking approval for the award of a contract to the lowest responsible bidder, Smith-Sondy, for this project. In case you're wondering, $1,004,000 is grant, of the $1,364,000 or so that we're seeking to award here, it's roughly 73% coverage by grant for the paving and the reconstruction of ADA ramps on Academy Street, Mill Road, Wayne Street, Cornelius Avenue. Most likely, this work will commence in the spring. Reason being, the MUA is planning on switching out roads to an existing contract to get out ahead, replace all the sewers and the water lines so that they're new. And then we come in, construct the handicap ramps, the ADA ramps, I should say, and repave everything, restripe, check the signals.
So, Joe, this is a very, can be related item, this one. When they do that, repaving street, the Liberty, Columbia, and the Terrace Avenue, they're supposed to put a speed hump, but they don't put a none. So what happened? Why they not? So a lot of people questioning because why? When they try talk about change of the traffic patterns in the western slope, at the time, the consulting company actually make a presentation. After repaving, they're going to put a speed from each blocks, so prevent any high-speed driving their area, just in case of what do they call tunnel having an issue. But now they put a repaving and they not put any speed hump. Can't you explain to us?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the contract went to bid with no speed humps in them, other than the replacement of existing speed humps on streets that we repaved during that contract. Those 3 streets had no speed humps on them at the time that we went to bid. If you recall, we postponed those streets till the end of the project because of the pending Western Slope study, which ended up recommending one-way flow on those streets, alternating one-way flow. As part of the alternating one-way flow in the 4 meetings, which I believe you attended all 4, speed humps were going to be a necessary part if we went to one-way flow. Reason being, the streets would essentially be widened. Right now, the streets handle two-way flow. They would be much wider for a single car traveling in one direction. Therefore, in anticipation of increased speeds due to the anticipated increased width of the street, we were going to implement, as a necessary measure, speed humps. However, being that the one-way configuration was not processed and not implemented, we went back to the original. If we want specific speed humps for which some of those streets we have specific requests, applications, and petitions filed already, we need to get the others up to speed, get the community involved, and follow the same process with applications.
Probably applications to different locations, those areas, but now problem is that we have to understand, even though they have a two-way, especially at nighttime, and the problem is that if a tunnel have is a backup to traffic, then everybody can come that they were Manhattan Avenue or Carlton Avenue, they're flying that the tunnel, terrace, all those areas. So even though just two-way, still have a major problem. So I think we are looking to that matter, and even though the traffic study that area, yes, require, we all know that there was people up there, they're going. But before we did that, when I spoke to one of the city officers, they say that one of the firefighter, I just want to verify that what I heard, that one of the firefighter has to get hurt the neck based on, because of the traffic hump. That's why I heard that they stopped the build up the traffic hump in citywide. Is that true?
No, it's not true.
It's not the true.
Let me back up. Let me clarify. It is true that a firefighter was injured. From what I hear, the truck hit it was a fire apparatus, the larger rig where the steering occurs in the back. He was mounted on the back, steering, the tiller, exactly. Apparently, the speed hump was either not noticed or some other issue with the driving. They went through at high speed, or probably the posted speed, and as a result of that, he was kicked into the air, he hit his head on the top of the cab, inside of the cab, and had a fracture in his neck. But that did not stop the speed hump program. What stopped the speed hump program was we ran out of money. Yes, so we have a running list, which is pretty significant. It's about...
Terrace Avenue, there was a speed hump. When they repaving and the milling, they not replaced what we have.
That will be replaced this year.
Okay,
That's
great.
right.
And the third thing is that they finished at the Terrace, Columbia, Liberty Avenue, and there's some portion we missed that we done. You're going to do that, I think I studied this Friday.
Columbia, yep.
Yes, I understand. Then now,
starting Friday.
do we expect some dollars still left over?
That's going to be very tight. We're well beyond the original scope of the contract. They've more than addressed that. There were some streets added and some additional quantities used, also due to some unforeseen conditions that happened during the contract. But my recommendation for future roads, obviously, next round of capital bond funding is going to start probably this month or next month at the latest, and probably should be through and complete by March, at which point we can plan our following programs. Speed hump program, anything with signals, and the next road program.
So in other words, maybe you guys plan to put in the speed hump maybe next year because of budget?
That's correct. The capital budget that I will present to the BA, Bob Kakaleski, will include enough to cover all of the speed humps that we have on the list now. It's not guaranteed to be approved, that's up to you here.
Oh, no, we're going to approve that, don't
That's
question
up to you
about
here.
it.
Did we put the list of the speed bumps and priority, or how they were submitted by?
The only priority, Councilman, is the timing in which we receive them. None is more important than the other. They could be. It's at your purview. I may be misspeaking. I have our traffic engineer behind me, so when he comes up next,
That's what I'm saying. Actually, Andrew, oh, go ahead.
I can circulate the list of what we have so far.
Of the street project, like the paving projects, whatever, slated in this next go-around.
Absolutely. That will be a part of the capital funding process. Every council person for their ward at large will also get, every ward will get what we have on our list so far. And at that time, we will negotiate what streets will make the final list so that I could finalize my number and submit that to Mr. BA.
So now, when we do the Heights project, the repaving, Terrace, Columbia, Liberty, and some side street, there was a $4 million project, was it?
No, it was larger than that.
Larger than that?
This 2016-17 road program?
Yeah.
It was closer to, it was 4 contracts, 2 for concrete work only,
$12 million.
and 1 for, no, I think we were about 8 and change. Yeah.
Then there were probably at least $1 million contingencies, reserved there. And they spend all those contingency dollars?
We're well into those contingency funds at this time.
Yeah? Okay. I just want to make sure that, okay?
Yeah, we're well into that.
Okay.
That was approved by the purchasing agent.
Okay, great. No further
You
question?
know what I'm gonna ask you?
I have a feeling,
Yeah, no, well, you know, please. I got a call from Russo this morning, talking about the Russo.
yes,
Yeah,
Paul Russo.
Yeah.
yeah,
About Allen Terrace?
yeah. I mean, they've been waiting 6 months, 9 months. It's a disaster over there. And the painting of the stripes along the streets. Please, Joe.
The painting of the stripes, I believe we're still on schedule for Thursday, weather permitting. If not, it'll be Friday. That's at Magnolia and Chestnut, the corridor. We're going to go all the way north to Newark, I believe, right, Andrew? Correct. All the way to Newark.
Why don't you do this way? Because even the Heights area, include the C and D, the painting company back and forth back was almost, as I know, 3 times already. I think it's not. So if you give to us, the days they're going to be shopped as Jersey City Heights area, then we promote the peoples. After we pave that street, if we not paint so-and-so, please let us know, so we can make a total list of that one shot, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's much easier, you guys are, to even ourselves,
So to be clear, are you looking for a recap of what we did pave by ward? Is that what you're looking for, a
Yeah,
summary? Yeah, we could do that, absolutely.
Okay.
And just to clarify the work on the federal holiday, the only part I sent you was the noise ordinance.
Yeah, it wasn't you, I wasn't aiming at you.
I just don't want there to be a conflict between a noise ordinance and another where you saw where work is not supposed to happen at all, because to be clear, the noise ordinance allows work on federal holidays. So that's a conflict that we have to fix.
And nobody in this city knew anything about it. Nobody,
That's a conflict.
everybody, all the police issued 30 sites for construction.
I'm going to reach out to Ray Meyer, construction
I
official.
called Mahoney, Joe. I called
Because it'll
Mahoney,
come up again.
I called Mahoney 3 times today and got an answering machine. I called the chief's office and the director's office to tell him I want to speak to him. And evidently, I don't know if he wasn't in today or what, but that office up there for off-duty work has to be straightened out and know what they're doing. And Joe, thank you for everything. You're really,
Hardworking man. We give you a
Joe,
lot
I
of
have one
credit.
before you leave.
Yes, sir, before you go, I actually want to go back to
The
the
sweeping of Garfield Avenue, please.
sweeping. I'll refer that to Pat.
Berry Lane Park.
Are
We
you
had a car
referring,
breaking into last week. We approved this about 3 months ago.
are we referring to the part behind the delineators or all of it?
Sweeping Garfield Avenue.
I'm aware of that, we need to take care of it. It's posting of signs, for street cleaning, that hasn't been done yet, we'll take care of it.
I got you. So it's not the physical cleaning, it's the
No.
ability to clear the street to clean. Gotcha. Okay.
Still don't have this.
We'll follow up with the sign shop tomorrow.
Thank you.
I'm actually going to take it back to the resolution.
Okay.
And ask about, how did these streets get determined as to?
These were predetermined before I got here, in 2014,
Part of the grant application.
as part of the annual local aid grant application to the DOT. We basically, the new policy for moving forward is to not select streets that the MUA will be hitting in the next 4 years. As you all know, there's quite a few that they're under.
They're going to hit?
These were postponed already twice. We asked for the DOT to extend this contract, this grant twice, and this was the last extension we had to award by today in order to get this in. Reason being, we were waiting for the MUA to schedule this, and now they've fast-forwarded these streets to be done November, December, and January. These will probably not break ground on our work, which is the ramps and the paving, until March.
So you are coordinating with them?
That's absolutely correct. We meet once a
Water drainage.
month.
Improvements, so, okay.
Yeah, the other utilities are aware as well. PSE&G, Gas, Electric, Verizon, Suez is part of the MUA on this, so.
Okay. Anyone else? Nothing else on the resolution? All right, thank you. Carmen, you're up. 10K?
of the City of Jersey City authorizing acceptance and execution of HUD entitlement grants for CDBG, ESG, COPLA, and HOME, and authorizing program contracts under the HUD entitlement program for the program year April 1st, 2017 through March 31st, 2018.
Do we need PO numbers?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
And we're- Questions in regards to, so this is, on September 22nd or the 26th, I received the letter from HUD. If you can remember, last year was a very extended, long delay with the block grant funding, and so we're catching up and we're trying to execute and get these funds in order so we can go into contract with our agencies, our developers, with everyone that makes up the community development block grant group. So if you remember the individual meetings that I had with you throughout the years about getting here, this actual letter from HUD and this resolution before you allows us to go into contract and to carry out all the project deliverables within the next couple of months. And so, I don't know.
Will these funds be available?
When?
Yes.
After this resolution.
Thursday.
Yeah, and most of my staff has been working on getting a lot of the contracts, letters, things out, award notices, and everything that we need to put into all of our contracts and get us over the table, so.
These funds are effective April 1st of this year.
Yeah, so,
These was the ones that was already ordered.
I know it sounds it's confusing, but the way my fiscal year works, it runs from April 1 to March 31st. And so the meetings that I had with you this year was about anticipated funding or what my funding was going to be. So I can't wait for HUD to give us our notification awards, because whatever happens sometimes in Washington and some things further the delay. So this resolution before you are the final numbers based on the award letter that I received from HUD more recently.
Any other questions? None?
No, I just want to make a comment that on November 3rd, we are going back out. I'm trying to get the city on time this year. So we are having an orientation and technical assistance meeting on the 3rd. I brought some flyers so that you guys can hand out. We've got over 75 people already registered, groups and agencies, so you're more than welcome to attend. Yeah, I will send it out electronically, but so November 3rd is our orientation meeting, and the actual RFP opens out October 20th. Yep.
It's not your fault, but let me just say one thing, very simple one. As I told you that the last time,
Yep.
he's, how old is he? 89 years old, World War II veterans, and he live in Jersey City Heights, and one of the Charles Street, and, he live with his social security and welfare, the food stamp. Food stamp, he get around $200, and, the housing price is very high, and the high getting high.
Yep.
And his rent is like a short $200. Because of the current land is what he get social security. So whatever he receives social security incomes, all pay for the rent, and there's still a couple $100 short. And he make it at the eat because of that food stamp. Now that $200, how can any way we can help, and that any programs available to help that short of rent like a couple $100 instead of to wait till he be a homeless person?
I mean, there are many providers that the city, through my office, we contract with, and we look to partner him with many of our providers, whether it's Waterfront Project, Garden State Episcopal, or different services. There are financial management programs or coaching or assessments that can happen through New Jersey Citizen Action that can probably assist and help, but the loss of income or the advocating for funding and needs, I mean, you can continue to point them in our direction, but we will connect them with the providers. I mean, the city doesn't have an agency to go in and assist and fund and give stipends or of that nature. So I would continue to have him follow up with our office.
Yes, but your office is funding for a lot of organizations.
Sure.
And then those organizations are supposed to have some kind of program to help those kind of cases.
Correct.
But let me tell you this one, because I think I was so mad about the last time.
Yep.
My office contact with a variety, the organization, what your company, your department provides. Probably half a dozen of that. Still, I think we do how many months, like Jennifer? 3 months? 3 months we try to contact with 6 months, I'm sorry.
To contact who?
So, he needs Section 8, but he has an apartment, the landlord has to apply for Section 8, he has to apply for Section 8. Now, they're not accepting any applications, so he has a place. The landlord wants to keep him.
I mean, I mean, I could speak to you one-off, I don't know if this is the appropriate time to discuss a person's personal matters, but again, I mean, I've emailed you from our last meeting, and I know you've spoken to my staff. It is a continuous effort. It's not solved overnight. You know how many cases I'm presented with in regards to connecting people to services in regards to, that's what we do, right? Building viable communities, that's the mantra of community development. So it's not solved, but I could, continue to warrant the discussion so that we can continue to have it, because what I've just given to you in regards to, I don't know where we are in that continuum. None of the providers, none of the agencies, right? So then let's have a separate discussion, find out, so I could take a deeper dive, because absolutely, they submit proposals, we'll have some other aspects, and we'll coordinate those efforts.
Okay, so you're gonna have some stuff meeting, right?
I did, I already emailed them, waiting, but I know that you guys have spoken to Millie and my staff, and from the last time that we met and you brought up the issue, I sent out an email, and I said, hey, please contact me. I know I'm waiting for that, but I do know a discussion was had with my staff from the email that I sent, because they updated me. But, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're gonna have the EPO numbers before tomorrow, right?
Yeah, they're working on it, yep.
Steve Miller. 10R, Roberts.
10R is a resolution authorizing the renewal of the contract with Atlantic Salt Incorporated for the purchase and delivery of rock salt through cooperative agreement, between the City of Jersey City and Hudson County for the Department of Public Works, Division of Sanitation.
It's fairly straightforward, right?
It's the renewal from last year's contract. Hopefully, we won't have a lot of snow, so we won't need to use much of this contract. And, yes, we're all filled up right now with all of the locations for salt. This is, in case we get snow and we need more salt, this resolution is the company that provides it.
So now, DPW spent the 2006 $80,000 and the 2017 $650,000. When we spend the $650,000 in 2017, you not spend all those rock salt. Probably they have some inventory, no?
That's something what?
Some have inventory you have.
Inventory.
Yeah.
Yes, they're currently full. They're currently full.
Full.
From locked,
So maybe
right.
it's somewhere, right?
Right. So we don't need anything until we get more storms and use up some of what we have. Right now, they're all filled up.
Okay, so we have some thing in the rock salt in somewhere in Jersey City.
Yes.
Okay. And still you need $1.2 million.
Well, up to, depending on how much
Okay.
snow we get.
All right. Okay.
Hopefully, we won't get snow, we won't need to use any of it.
Steve, let me ask you a question. Do we buy it in advance? I mean, we have to, right? We have to stay full?
Yes.
So how much of the 1.2 million will we be using
How many
in advance?
Right now, we don't need anything. All of them are full right now. The brine?
They make it themselves down there.
Yeah. This is only in case we have a lot of snow and we start using it quickly. We have to have a resolution in place to refill them. Right now, we're fine. If it doesn't snow, we're great. We don't need to use any money.
Okay. No questions? Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Andrew, you're up. Andrew, at 3B. 3B, ordinance 3B.
Which is an ordinance supplementing chapter 332, vehicles and traffic, article 3, parking, standing and stopping, amending section 332-23, no stopping or standing, designating both sides of Green Street between Columbus Drive and Second Street as no stopping or standing.
Thank you. This is a very straightforward item. We're essentially just updating the code to reflect existing conditions. We received a complaint that people were parking on Green Street between Morgan and Bay specifically. We looked into the code, saw that there was actually nothing on the books for stopping or standing. It's travel lane, people can't park there, so we're just updating the code to reflect that.
Any questions? No? Okay, well, one walkout resolution?
Correct.
Which is 10Z2, it's not on the printed agenda, but that was one of the other resolutions that was on top. It's a resolution authorizing the closing of the municipal street, 2nd Street from Marin Boulevard to Manila Avenue, beginning 8 a.m. and ending 2 p.m. Saturday, October 14th, 2017, for the purpose of the celebration of Lou Rivera's life. That's resolution 17- Sorry? Eliu, so sorry. 17-815, 10Z2.
And we should have had a moment of silence for Elio as well.
We can do that now.
We can do that. Thank you. So it's straightforward. This is a late item, but it'll be on
Yes.
Saturday. We need to get this on before,
That kind of what is it, 10Z? 2, right? Yeah. Yes. As a councilman, and he's a long-time elected officer in Jersey City, and especially what happened in those days, unexpected things that happen in Jersey City in his life, and they have some kind of celebration for Mr. Rivera's life. Makes sense. But 10G like a George, I have a question for that.
10G?
G like a George.
Okay, so we're fine with 10Z2.
Yeah, to finish the other one.
I just want to state one thing. 10G should have been withdrawn. The event was canceled per September 22nd email from Christine Goodman to a handful of people. I noticed it made the agenda, and she had left off Robert Byrne from that email, so it just never got removed from here. But this should be withdrawn, yes. 10G is withdrawn. The event was canceled as of September 22nd.
Okay, so now, I just want to make sure that last council meeting, I make it clear, we have an ordinance created by this city council, this city body, and if we try to give to continue the certain event as a waiver, then have no sense to have an ordinance, you know what I'm saying? So, the last council meeting, I told them very clear in the record at the council meeting to our corporation council, Jeremy, we can give you 2 exceptions for the state senators. He's some kind of block party, barbecue party, we understand. Because the way he contributes to Jersey City is a really extremely helpful people of Jersey City, we understand. But now on, he said, you're not gonna have a way with any city ordinance to give a special treatment to special group of people gonna be stopped, but they already withdrew that, so we're not gonna discuss that part of it. But keep the good word, Andrew, okay?
Okay.
Andrew, before you go.
Yes, sir.
St. Paul's and Tunnel, when are they gonna put up the stop signs? This going on for months and months and months.
Yeah, St. Paul's and Liberty, right? Yeah, absolutely. We have to coordinate with the striping contractor and DPW, and it's just getting a date that works for both because we want them both done at the same time. Understood completely. It'll be done this month. All right, thanks.
Andrew, one more.
Yes.
Union Street and Clerk Street. 25-mile-per-hour sign blew off. I don't know how. Yes, it blew off. I talked to someone at DP&W. They came down and picked up the sign. They just never replaced it. Yeah. It blew off the sign. I don't know. It had like big holes in it, so I guess it might have shook over time and it just came off around the nuts. The nuts are still there. We're just waiting for a sign. Thank you.
Thank you.
Andrew, keep the good word.
We have the tax assessor at Delozer. Oh, it's here for 10L and 10M.
There's a resolution authorizing a settlement in the amount of $727,685.13, credit or refund on pending litigation filed before the Tax Court of New Jersey by Summit and Greenwich Urban Renewal LLC. 10M is a resolution authorizing the use of competitive contracting to procure a contract for the purchase, or licensing of proprietary computer software designed for updating and maintaining the tax records and information for blocks and lots in the city of Jersey City.
Good evening, Council.
Hi.
It's 10L first, then 10M. I read them both into the record.
Okay, 10L.
This is basically, we're seeking to, the authorization to settle this tax court complaints. This is a multi-year appeals from 2012 to 2017. This property had an abatement agreement for 12 years. It started in 2000 and ended in 2012. So basically, with the amount that we came up, or the assessed value that we agreed upon, I think it would serve the best the interest of the city, because we are still, we're looking at like almost like 12 million in the market value for the place, while the opposing party has a range of from 8 million to 9,500,000 in the market value. Now you may be surprised why there is basically a widening gap between the original assessed value of 5.4 million to what we're settling at 2.2. Remember, when we struck the assessed value in 2000, properties are assessed at 87% of their market value. Today, we're only assessing properties at 21% of their market value. That's why. Which that? I thought it was 24%. No, that was last year. Now, currently it is. Yeah. So that's basically the cause why you have a plummeting assessed values in comparison to the 2000 year.
So that 2.2 million is 21%.
That's correct. That's correct. Yes.
So when the reval is completed, it'll come up to 100%.
Yes. So in this particular one, you're looking at 10.5 million. So obviously the assessed value for the reval year would almost be hovering around this number.
And how many years did we actually? They go back and file, because I see they started from 2012 to 2017. Right, so if they wanted to go back to 2000 and say they are appealing these taxes, we would let them?
No, Councilman, at least the tax abatement until 2012.
Then it expired, am I correct? Okay. And then I'm guessing that we didn't update our records?
No, it is not. Unfortunately, the assessor cannot just arbitrarily change the assessed values. Well, it is basically by statute, otherwise, We don't need revaluation, we don't need experts and everything would be up to date or 100% of market value every year. Unfortunately, the law does not provide the same. Now, with your question, remember, they have been filing appeals every year, beginning 2012 when the abatement expired. So every year there was an appeal from 12 to this year, 2017.
So when it came off the abatement, you assessed it originally at 5.4 million?
That's correct, yes.
And that's why we're refunding.
That's correct, yes.
See, so in other words, you cannot do that, the selected rebel for the certain property. That's what that means?
You cannot.
Because you know what? Spot.
No, you cannot.
You cannot. That's why these things happen?
Yes.
You hurt me very much.
Yeah, and now remember this value or this assessed values were struck in the year 2000, where properties under what was promulgated by the Division of Taxation, Mr. Tax Assessor, you assess properties at 87 and 40% of their market value. That's what we had, the 5.4 million. Now, today or this year, the division says, Mr. Tax Assessor, you assess properties at 21.63% of market value.
So market value, which is used almost 5 years old market value, we have to use it?
No.
So no, current.
Yeah, the current, yes.
Yes, that's what I'm saying, but
Yes.
no, that's why my concern is that.
Each year is independent of valuations.
So in other words, over the 5 years, that size of land, market values are down?
Not necessarily. It is the ratio that we apply to assess properties. Remember, if you're looking at 5.4, if that amount is 87.40% of market value, that means in the year 2000, that property was only worth around like 6.6 million. Today, you're looking at, based on the agreed number that we have, it's worth 10.3 million.
So 10.3 million. Market value 10.3 million, but we only able to charge 21%.
20, yes. 21, yes.
That's why.
It is the ratio basically that, dictates just how much you could assess properties.
And it's also true, is it not, Ed, that when you have a tax abated property and they're tax abated over a long period of time, the owner tends not to file tax appeals.
Right.
So it tends to stay a little stagnant, and it doesn't hurt the city, but eventually, if you're in a declining ratio, that's when you kind of get caught, and that's what happened here.
And not only that, statutorily they can file an appeal when you have a pending abatement. No. They're limited on the...
Agree to that. Ordinarily, you cannot file a tax appeal at all. There's a statutory bar in Title 54, and we've also put it in agreements. However, if it's in the city's financial best interest to allow it, then we have allowed it. We have allowed it occasionally, if it's in the city's best economic interest to do that. Because we retain, do we occasionally, especially with residential condos, for example, we want them to retain their tax abatement because the value to the city nets so much more under a tax abatement. Other projects, you'd really have to evaluate case by case, and Ed does that.
Right, I think Councilman, you're referring to the Mack-Cali arbitration settlement we had before.
Oh, yeah, that's something totally different.
You going to pay? Who's going to pay?
It is going to go to a trial. I think the exposure that we would have is much, much greater than if you allow the other party to try this case. Based on the opinion of our tax counsel and our expert, I think the value that we came up, we were serving the best interest of the city.
So we got to go to the best interest of the people of Jersey City. Okay, let's go.
That's correct, Councilman.
Okay, no further question, okay, my side.
I have a question on this. So if you're an individual, you have a home, and you appealed your taxes, and, actually, let me ask it this way. So they're at 21% right now?
You appeal your assessment, not your taxes.
Yeah, you appeal your assessment.
That's correct.
And so that appealed value, when they finish that whole process, and the county determines what the assessed value is ultimately, right?
They call the promulgated assessment ratio. Gives you the relationship between market value and just how much they are supposed to be assessed.
So yeah, do they end up at 21% when that whole thing is done, the individual homeowner as well, when they get through that process today?
Yes.
They're also end up at 21%?
If they file an appeal, you come up with that ratio.
They're paying at a higher rate.
Right.
That's the whole point. If everybody filed a tax appeal every year, you wouldn't need a revale, right? If the whole city did it, you could adjust everybody's and keep it all even. It's only when some people do, others don't, and then time and market changes and...
Unfortunately, only the properties that are assessed higher would be the ones basically filing the appeals. It's still one-sided. Basically, I think with the reval now, we have a new system that would be implemented. It's called the CAMA system, which is computer-assisted mass appraisal. So we want to see if we could get a better deal. Right now, we have Microsystems doing this particular service. Right now, I think we are. It cost us like $52,600 between the hardwares and the software involved in the assessing or with our office.
Any questions? None? Okay, thank you, Ed.
Thank you.
And we have Brian Platt. Director Williamson, did you have something?
Yes, the armory.
Oh, you have the
armory.
I'm sorry, I didn't even know. Come on up. I'm sorry, Brian, you just got the one item?
This is 10H.
10H.
Resolution authorizing the execution of a memorandum of understanding with the State of New Jersey Department of Military and Veteran Affairs permitting the City of Jersey City to use the National Guard Armory at 678 Montgomery Street, Jersey City, New Jersey.
10H.
10H.
Yeah, we're just up for renewal on the long-standing lease with the Armory once again, and it seems that it's a little lower than last year. However, the fees that we spend for the Armory are pretty extensive for the time frame that we actually use it. So we're just asking to continue to renew the lease. Primarily, what we use it for now is the high schools, the track teams, and the reason that we continue to use it in that manner is because we have a reciprocal agreement with the schools to use their gyms throughout the course of the year. So although it's high, I think at the end of the day, it kind of benefits us because we're able to use the schools from September, right through the summer.
And this is only for track, indoor track?
We can use it for other things. I mean, we have it for a short span, but primarily we use it for track, and then I have the latitude to use it for, various events, basketball. Right now, we're working with a young adult organization to get some more young adult activities going in there as well.
Any questions on 10H? No? None? Thank you, Director.
Thank you.
Sorry. All right. Brian, come on up.
Hello.
Brian's got 3A. Let's start there.
I got a few things to talk about here. I'll go in order. A few resolutions and a first reading ordinance. So the first one here, 3A, is an administrative change moving the Office of Innovation within the Department of Administration from within the Mayor's office. We think it's a good opportunity to better integrate with city offices, learn from the master over here. and continue our work. Our problem-solving approach doesn't necessarily change much. It's just an administrative move from, one slot in the org chart to another. Here it comes. Yes.
You was one of the guy committee about that, talk about electric company, electric safe. You are the one of the committee member, was it?
The electric car charging stations?
No, we talk about that, 2014. They talk about, what are they called? Tape case. Yeah. Then what was it that, was that the electric supply company, instead of PSENG, Good Electric, whatever they call?
Energy aggregation.
I
Yes.
didn't.
You wasn't not committee members?
He was not on it.
There's not committee? Thank you, you're off the hook. You can go.
Got a couple more. I want to just bring up real quick. The next one is
10J. 10J,
You got it.
resolution
10J.
authorizing the execution of a grant agreement between the City of Jersey City and the American Association of Retired Professionals for tree planting in public housing.
We won a grant from the AARP to improve green space and plant trees in low-income communities. And so we're doing a tree planting in Marion Gardens October 28th. We're going to do a little more media advisory around it probably next week, so you'll have more information then. But essentially, this money is going to go towards planting the trees, supplies, and also doing some education in the community about the value and usefulness of green space and also how to care for the trees. So, I think it was 8 to 10. I can't remember exactly. The number shifted, something like that, yeah. Hopefully, it'll be the first of many grants that we win. What's that?
$200, and the planning cost is $400, $600, or $3,000. There are only 5 trees in the planting.
We got a good deal on the trees. I can't remember the exact numbers. I can find it for you though. And even though we got a good deal, we bought some additional supplies for maintenance of the trees by the community that we're going to give to them. Yeah. So we've been working with Parks and Forestry they've been doing this work over the last few months to identify the better trees. Some of the trees you see on our streets don't grow in the right directions and are too low and get into the wires and stuff. So we're going to do it together. So the city is going to help us dig the pits, and then the community is going to come and finish it up. The next one is 10N.
Which is a resolution authorizing the use of competitive contracting to award a concession contracting relating to networked community information kiosks.
Yes, kiosks. So the idea with this, and we don't have any final specs on anything because we have to do the RFP to know exactly what's out there. But the idea is installing community wayfinding information kiosks. So it's a digital screen that provides information about what's going on in the community. So it's upcoming community events. It's messages from the city if something's going on. It's this street is closed or there's parking suspended or that sort of thing. And also wayfinding. So if you are new to the area and you're looking for a coffee shop, here's a map of small businesses. Here's, this and that in the community. That's, here's the next park. Here's the 4th of July celebration is next Wednesday, that kind of thing. We are, through the RFP, that process will dictate the locations. We're aiming for higher traffic areas near mass transit at first. Assuming those are going to have the most amount of people. But if you have suggestions or locations that you would prefer in your wards, we're happy to include that in the RFP. We're going to write it either way that we want these to be in all wards at a minimum. Obviously, because there's a lot more people going through mass transit downtown, there's probably going to be a couple extra in downtown. But if there are spots you guys think are good, we're happy to talk about.
Okay, so Square, West Side Light Rail.
Yeah. Okay.
So how many you guys have planned to?
The hub is.
Yeah, the hub. So exactly. Okay.
So you asked us to provide the location is in our district, right?
Yeah, if you want, you don't have to.
Yeah.
And we will work it into the RFP. Obviously, we may not be able to do every single spot that everyone wants, and we probably will scale up, meaning we'll start with 6. and put them in and see how people like them, and then do another round kind of thing, so we don't put them all out at once. The objective also is not to cover the city with screens. Obviously, we don't want to put them on every block. We don't want to put them in neighborhoods and keep people up at night. They're not going to be huge screens. We're hoping for something a little more manageable size, just something to help communicate things that are going on in more public areas. Yeah, we could do that, yeah, for sure.
So, and the cost for cities is nothing.
That is what we're aiming for. We've done some research and we've found some options that cost us zero with the potential, same with the new garbage cans. There's some limited ads on them that will offset the cost of installation and maintenance, so they could essentially cost the city $0, and we might be able to make some revenue from it.
So they expect around the $50,000.
Then we spend what?
$50,000 net annual revenue?
Yeah, it's hard to tell, again, without doing the RFP, but that's what we think the range would be, somewhere.
Then my next question, we have a city bike in Jersey City.
Yeah.
At the time, when we get contract, some kind of revenue we expect from the city bike.
Yeah.
So what kind of revenue so far we have then?
From City Bike?
Yeah.
I don't know, and...
That's not the answer.
Yeah, so somebody, I don't know who's managing that, to be honest, where we, is that through budget?
So how many is a city bike now?
I have no idea how much money we make from it. Yeah, okay. I can look that up for you.
Yes, please. So now,
sure.
The reason I'm asking you, we just send this talk with this program, because they always say that city of Jersey is going to get some kind of extra revenue.
Yeah.
But end of the day, we didn't see revenue.
Yeah.
Incomes at all. So they use the city public streets with their own business, so we gotta make sure that we should audit their book, but we gotta audit their book, we gotta make sure that we should get the property sharing the way we discuss in the contract,
Well, so the other side of that is that some of the things that we're doing, like City Bike and like the garbage cans, is providing a better, higher quality public service, and it's not necessarily something that we're trying to make money off of, just trying to not have to pay a lot for these things that make life better in Jersey City. Yeah.
At least
yeah.
the contract they're going to property sharing, then we gotta make sure that the property is there, what kind of share we got, If the contract say no, they have no property sharing, they're going to do it as a goodwill for the public, we understand. But it's a sale clear, okay?
Brian, I noticed one thing. I know it's all about downtown, but you excluded Journal Square at the PAD station, which is far more busier than the downtown PAD down here.
Excluded in what?
You're talking
Journal
about
Square.
Journal Square.
No, it's on the list. Yeah, no. I've actually already talked to Journal Square Neighborhood Association. They were one of the first groups I reached out to, and they want this. Sure, okay, sure. Well, we didn't come to every neighborhood group, we just did a little.
175,000 people a day that use that come through that Journal Square station.
Definitely a top location, for sure, for sure.
Okay.
Next one is 10O.
Which is a resolution to award a concession contract relating to electric vehicle charging stations.
All right.
10O.
10O, electric car charging stations. So, one of the things we did this year as a city was create an electric car charging parking zone. And we have a pilot location on First Street, which we worked through a couple of months ago. We are seeking to expand electric car charging stations all over the city. Same kind of idea with the kiosks in that we want to put them in every ward. We're going to slowly roll them out. We are looking for public areas with the highest chance of people either coming to the area with an electric car or living in the area with an electric car. And these will be publicly accessible stations that anyone in the community can use if they get an electric car. The other side of it is down the road, we would love to transition our city fleet to electric vehicles, and if we install some of these at city facilities, City Hall, the Hub, DPW, we can start to transition our fleet in that direction as well.
Didn't we cut some of these electric cars not too long ago at some station?
So in that location, they had 18 spaces for electric cars, and it was too much at the time. So we left all of the charging stations, but we allowed some of those spots to return to the community until the demand increases. It is, a little bit, not at the point where they're ready to shift over to have all those spots be electric. But this, in this round, we'll probably end up doing 6 spots in a location, or 4, wherever we end up choosing for this, whatever comes out of the RFP process. 18 spots is probably too much. It takes up a whole city block, and it's a lot of spots just for electric cars in one spot.
Since 2014, that company took that 21 street public space, and we give this nice the contract 99 years, $1 a year. It wasn't joking, was really.
Yep, and we cut it back.
Yes, thank God. But now this one is our concern.
Yeah.
So now they're gonna take off street parking from the Jersey City,
Right.
and that the company gonna make money to sell the electric. Correct? That's what it is. So I'm gonna make sure that what percentage the city will be getting, number one.
Sure.
Number two, it's a parking is a serious problem. So each street has a certain limit amount today, like not like a 10, not like a before, you know what I'm saying? And the years, add to one more, make sure that they are private sectors. Whatever they doesn't do that business, that their problem. We have to get some minimum fee every year.
Sure.
At least.
Okay.
So when you get your request for proposal, make it clear that how much they're going to pay minimum fee.
Yep.
So I don't want to involve there, look at their books, at least a minimum fee. How many years, how much cost will be, we got to line that well, okay?
Sure, definitely. We'll have to do that. Yeah, and sorry.
Will this come back to us when you locate the stations? Because,
Yeah. To approve the contract for the vendor. Yeah.
because I know this is a problem because it was not a need.
This
And
is
this
just
is
asking your
just 3 months.
authorization
I know.
to begin the procurement process.
Yeah.
So my request would be that before you go out to final bid, that the RFP, so we're not wasting our time, I guess, in that sense. If, when you go out for RFP, to share the RFP with the council prior to it going out.
I can only do that.
And the concern is that I don't want you that the one company to cover all the electric charging system in Jersey City. It's a monopoly, you know what I'm saying? Then people that they use that the electric charge system in Jersey City, they have to price the same price, it doesn't matter where they go. It's not fair. They have no, price competition. So you gotta make sure that it's not by single company control. You gotta have to, at least 2-3 companies have to be involved. Okay? All right? So when you have a monopoly, the end of the day, who's gonna pay more? People over Jersey. All right?
Ryan, you better, before you start with all this electric cars, check into a survey that was just done in California about the falseness about pollution, air pollution, and the amount of electricity that has to be used. And unless that comes from atomic energy plants, coal burning plants, and oil plants are causing more pollution than all the cars out there. So check into it before
And, go ahead. So you got all the point to what we concern, right?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. And not only that, when you create the charging station, not angle parking, you have to be, you understand?
Oh, that was my point. So not all of these have to be in the street. So they could be, for example, in the City Hall parking lot, or in the parking lot at the hub, or other parking lots that the city owns. So we can have that discussion as we finalize the RFP as well. Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Okay, good. Okay. Council President, before we discuss the main business.
Sorry, there's a franchise, which item? 3C.
That's Robson.
Yeah. Bob, come on up. We have Bob Kavanaugh with us, former councilman, Bob Kavanaugh.
So 3C, it's a franchise ordinance granting permission to M&T Bank Branch 3303 and its successors and assigns to make private improvements to a portion of lands within the sidewalk area of Bayview Avenue and Ocean Avenue, public right-of-ways located adjacent to 532 Ocean Avenue, Jersey City.
Hudson City Bank, yeah, horrible.
I don't control the banks where they want to be. I'm just helping them get a handicap ramp so they can be ADA compliant.
five corners downtown, they have one teller, they got rid of the people, everybody's disgusted. I worked for them for 3 years.
I tell you this, I will relay that to the corporate powers that be.
Tell them to stay in Buffalo with it.
Okay.
That's what this is about. On Bayview and Ocean Avenue, there's the bank. Anybody that knows that area, that bank is pretty old. And we have to put in a handicap ramp, so it's ADA compliant, and that's what this franchise agreement is allowing us to do.
We have some concern, because when I see that all this diagram, I have a magnifying glass, it's not strong enough to see really. So why don't you do this one? When we provide like those kind of diagram, can't you give us some kind of a web page or some Dropbox address so we can look at it through,
Google.
This information comes from the developer themselves.
Yes, they can provide. They can provide email address or Dropbox address so we can look at it through our computer. Because the way they provide this one, no way to read it really. But if we provide at the ordinance or resolution the address for Dropbox address on, so yeah, okay.
Processing this on our side. Yeah, the clerk's office processes this. If you could provide him a copy of the electronic version of these files, scan them or something.
The address is within the body.
Just so we're clear though, because, we have the full plans that we're ready, willing, and able to give every council member, but and correct me if I'm wrong, Sean, the procedure from the clerk's office now is that we give one set of plans to the engineering department, one set of plans to the clerk's office, the full set, and we submit these plans via this PDF version because it's easier for them to disseminate it to the council. But I can give you full-blown plans if you want.
24 by 36. It doesn't provide, some Dropbox address for, or crowd address so we can look at it ourselves.
The address is an engineer's report.
Are we able to do that, Peter?
That's what I'm saying. You understand, right? So instead we go try to look at this one, it's impossible. But if we
Just give the PDF version. Will that suffice?
The PDF version is going to print out in the same... Yeah, they can.
All right, so I'll send you the PDF version.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Okay.
Thanks, guys. All right.
Bob, you're going to get back to me on that other issue, right?
Yes, I am.
All right, thank you.
I am, absolutely.
Okay. All right. I guess from the top.
two things, one resolution and one ordinance, I asked that the law department, the city clerk's office, one ordinance is school funding, because it was the last time we put it in, we withdrew and we asked to resubmit it, but it was not here for the school funding issue. And the number two resolution, you know, this is a shame things happen, and the hard-working city officer gets stressed by obstructor. This one we call the obstructor. It's a tape issue. So I asked them the resolution for the put it in the agenda, but those two things is missing.
What's the resolution?
The ordinance was sent to you. You sent an ordinance to the law department.
Yes.
Way back when.
Yeah.
You withdrew it.
Yes.
Then there was total radio silence. Then you asked for it again, and I sent it to you again.
Yes, we responded to that too. We just wanted to say.
If you want it on, put it on. I mean, I printed it, we had it delivered to you. I didn't know you want it on or not. That I said, talk to the council president. I don't control what goes on.
So
he was going to talk to you.
When did this get circulated?
Jennifer, my aide is, where are you?
That was a while ago.
No, I'm talking about the reply to the email that he sent out.
Yes.
I'll look for his reply, but I mean, this was last week. You brought it up, when did you bring it up to me?
October 6th. Sweeney and the co-sponsor wish to keep the original language in the first draft and submit this to be added to next week's council agenda. Thank you very much. And where is it?
And we sent it to you. I know we sent it to you. I'm gonna find it, just give me a minute. You got all your ammunition lined up. I'm just trying to
What's the subject of the
react.
message?
Joanne, Jeremy, and Bob.
Then how does it get added?
How else is it gonna?
If you guys are not on this chain, then how are we supposed to know that it has to go on?
Me either. I was asked to, we formatted it, we prepared it. If it's, if you sent it to, I don't control the agenda, so you would send it to the city clerk or the council president, or, I did it.
You sent to the corporation others, city clerks and the council president. So what happened, council president, then?
What's the subject matter?
Subject is a city funding. The school tax.
Funding or shared pilot?
Yes.
Well, shared pilot is the, because I
Is that the
see you have
subject?
a couple things.
Which one is it? Shared pilot, city funding?
That's what it looks like, shared pilot.
I sent to Joanne Monahan, Jeremy Farwell, Robert Ryan, Richard Bujano, Chris Gesson, and myself. We all had it. And only one person actually responded, Joanne, thank you for your great job. So you want to know what was the sort of language. So we say, I say that they kept the original language, in first draft. And you give to the council president, the city clerks, Robert, but where is my paper?
Why did you put it if you couldn't have?
Councilman, if you wouldn't mind CCing me on anything that you sent to Robert, I'd appreciate that, so then I'd make sure I follow up on it.
Okay, still we got time. Can we put it tomorrow as a late item?
We gotta read it.
What is
School funding from the tax abatement.
But y'all was going back and forth with the
Happy to accept
financial.
responsibility.
So now what happened? I did it like 3 months ago, first draft, and they have some concerns, so we
Right, I remember
resubmitted.
that.
We resubmitted. But I asked them to put it resubmitted at the city council, but we're nowhere.
With the original.
And it says, the intention is to get it added to next week's council agenda. And we're co-sponsoring.
Am I copied on that?
You, no. You are, let me see who's copied on this one.
Michael, you said I'm copied on the email? No, okay. Well, I'm not sure how I would know.
Yeah, so you don't know.
Oh, I
but-
sent you an email, because it was very strange. You sent me an email and you copied Terrence McDonald and Jeremy Farrell. Those were the only two people who got copied. It was so odd. But anyway, I answered you on October 5th.
Newspaper.
He's a reporter.
Yes.
I don't know why he was on an internal email, but anyway, I did answer you.
Okay, now, we gotta make it clear. Okay, now.
I'm going to tell you what I said.
Okay.
I said my secretary resurrected the former ordinance that you had written and added to the agenda for the council meeting last May. As I recall, prior to introduction, you had withdrawn the ordinance so it could be redrafted. I have no idea whether or not this is the form you desire, or if you've made any amendments. You will need to print it out on ordinance paper and consult with your colleagues as to whether and when the ordinance will be added to the agenda. Not sure what you expect the law department to do. Please be guided accordingly. So I sent that to you on October 5th, all exactly what you wanted.
Yes, so October 5th, we discussed to you, we like to have original draft of what we submitted last time. And since then, nobody answered to us.
No, that's what I sent you. It was attached, exactly what you sent. But I only copied who you
I'm
copied.
gonna interject here and say October 5th was after the agenda meeting as well. So
Then what we're gonna do, we're gonna
look at the
resubmit
next
it.
meeting
Yeah.
and introduce it then.
I did I think, yeah, but I only copied the pink copy, so Terrence McDonald knows what's going on, but the council president doesn't. So I'm sorry.
So if the law department can work with the two council people for the next council meeting in
Sure.
towards the end of October,
And
we'll get it added then.
It's a tape issue, what happened there? I asked the resolution to regard the tape, we should be disclose all the...
What do you mean?
No, we talked about the tape.
To me?
Yeah.
You talking to me?
Yeah, we sent to the two, right? Yes.
Tape of what?
What tape?
Oh, I don't want to say detailed information about it. Right, we asked,
A resolution.
disclose all...
Disclosing the tape. Oh,
Yeah.
the video, I guess the audio tape that was in the NJ.com and discussion. So we wanted a resolution.
Put it on the agenda if you want it. I'm not the gatekeeper of the agenda, I'm the scrivener. What you ask me to do, I do. I might, you know, if you want it on, put it on.
We draft it, and we give them...
What are you giving to me for?
Who did he give it to? It's 4 years later, we don't know how to introduce it. It's a resolution.
It's very sad.
I'm just saying,
Okay, now, we sent the...
trying to be that kind here.
The Joanne Monahan, you know, because we like to deal with the law department instead of... Oh, no. This one we done. We supposed to...
Okay, come on.
Okay, so now...
Just,
Yeah.
What happened there?
So now you sent another resolution. What's the date of that resolution? Now we're going to define it.
what's that?
No.
September 29th.
Oh, God. September 29th.
Why don't you,
I don't know.
I'm going to find out.
No, we didn't put it in.
Who was it submitted to?
Okay.
You sent it to me or Jeremy? You sent it,
Jeremy and CCTU.
Jeremy and CC'd me. Okay, let me look.
And the one of this one is October 5th. I sent the one.
Was it added in the time?
Oh, finally.
You sent it October 5th to Robert?
Yes.
No, on the 29th, sent it to Jeremy and Joanne. That's the only people.
And,
For what, the ordinance?
Well, the resolution.
no, there's a resolution. But
And didn't give it, I mean, ordinarily, I would say we would have put that on resolution paper and given it back to you, and
Joanne, let me say clear. When we do any ordinance and the resolution, we like to send to the law department first because we want to make sure that law department review that our proposed ordinance and resolution we don't want to violate any state statutes. So that's what we sent to you first.
okay.
And then now you told me that I have to contact with the city clerks or so and so. I think it's not fair. A lot of cases we do that we don't.
To the law department, with
Yes.
all due respect, and what the law department does is, as a courtesy to anybody, we would format it and put it on paper for you. We would review it as to legal form to see if there was any legal impediment or suggestions that we could help to make it better. But we don't control the agenda.
So who puts the agenda?
You do with the council president and the, you know, there's the agenda. You have council rules concerning how items get on the agenda.
Okay.
And you have to follow those rules, and there are deviations from those rules, like late items and the like, and there's a protocol for that as well. Other than that, you consult with your colleagues and the council president and get it done.
Joanne, after you review, you didn't get any response yet. Then after review, you have to say, okay, after we review, seems like it's a follow the rules and regulations like we set up. City council, what's this.
I will have to look at the resolution to see what it is you sent and whether it even ask for a legal review, and if it was even appropriate, to give a legal review. If you do, we don't even see some resolutions. If it's a resolution honoring somebody, for example, we don't see every single thing that goes on the agenda.
Okay, thank you very much, Joanne, okay?
Okay.
All right, okay. Then,
The next agenda meeting.
yes,
Just make sure we
Okay.
get a copy.
all right.
That's all you can do.
All right,
Let's start at 3D.
we're on the top, yes, we're gonna go to 3D. Any question, I'm gonna read these all into the record tomorrow, so is there any questions on item 3D?
Any questions on 3D? Hearing none.
Any questions or comments on 3E?
It's a 5-year tax exemption, 65 Storms Avenue. It's amendment to it.
Amendment.
Okay.
And 3F?
Oh, and the resolution, I'm sorry to interrupt, but there's a resolution on demanding the release of the audio recording, right? And that is to Jeremy with a copy to me and again to Terrence McDonald. So I will definitely, I don't know, he's on the list, so I'll find out what happened to it. I don't know, but I don't know that he's on our
So what was your
email.
response to his,
Well,
what was the request, I guess?
Well, he just said, do you have any problems with it? It was to Jeremy. Did he have any problems?
Yeah, so, can you just read, let's just get this to the point. What does it say exactly?
All right, he said,
His
it
email.
says, let me see. Councilman Bogiano and Gadsden were already consulted and are co-sponsoring this resolution. The intention is to get it added to next week's council agenda. And that was on Friday, October 6th. So that was this past Friday? Yeah, but it's next week's council, okay, so that would be today.
What was it,
Okay.
September 29th?
And then, so,
Resolution co-sponsored by Mike, Bogiano, and Gaston. Please let me know if you have any questions. This one right here wasn't, there was no Terrence, it was
I did
just...
answer it. I said, what do you want the law, this is to you, and I copy Terrence McDonald again because he's part of our group now, and I say, what do you want the law department to do with this resolution? It appears you have already drafted it. As you know, you will need to consult with colleagues concerning its addition to the agenda. This is covered in Appendix 350 of the Jersey City Municipal Code, wherein you will find the rules of the council. I am sure that the council secretary, Margaret, will print the resolution on resolution paper for you. If she's unable to do so, please let me know and send it to Robert Byrne. Your cooperation is appreciated. So
you respond?
I did.
So what was the response of this?
After that response. You sent it to Robert Byrne?
Right.
Okay.
We sent to Rob Bun.
We sent it to Robert.
Just to clear the original.
Okay, that's what, you have to find out.
So maybe
Again, I'm just gonna request that anything you send to Robert, if you can CC me on it, so I can follow up.
Okay, great.
Okay.
So give me your email address, so we're gonna send it one more time, okay? All right.
Okay.
Are we adding that to the agenda, or are we gonna wait until next meeting?
We'll wait till next meeting, I think.
Well, we can mention this, a simple resolution, and the other one is, it's very simple, because we had a first reading already. They're both. Ordinance is, we did,
But don't we have that public?
That's it.
With that one, we didn't have public hearing.
For what?
We had a first reading on that ordinance?
For which one?
No, we
We
didn't.
don't?
We didn't.
The ordinance is
We have
now.
to-
Yeah, so
have
we
to
can put
post
it
that.
now.
It was on the agenda and then it was withdrawn, wasn't it?
Yes.
It wasn't introduced. Yeah.
So the ordinance wasn't submitted in accordance with timely fashion, and so it should be submitted for the next council meeting. As for the resolution, if there was something submitted to Robert, if there's some record of that it was submitted in a timely fashion prior to the agenda meeting.
Well, it wasn't.
prior-
It didn't go before the agenda meeting.
No, I'm saying if it was submitted to Robert, and he didn't.
No, but it wasn't. I mean, I have October
Well, he's saying that,
5th.
he's suggesting that he submitted it to Robert.
Oh, earlier.
Yes.
Oh, the week before. Okay.
If that's the case, then we'll add it to the agenda. If he submitted it in a timely fashion, in accordance with the rules of order, but if it wasn't, then I would say,
I'm going to forward the
Say that we should-
email from him. I'll forward it to you so you can make that call. It's up to you to put it on.
understood.
Definitely not up to me. All right.
Well, actually, it would be considered a late item, and it would be a council vote.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct.
So we have to read it.
That's why I figured if you waited to the next meeting, it would be on and
Right,
you vote on
been
it.
better.
It's going to be a late item either way. So it's not here.
For which one?
I'm just
Yeah.
confused because I was out. So this resolution that we're arguing here, we're talking about rather discussing, it went out of this body to a journalist of the city. Is that why? Why?
Is that what?
So why did this discussion,
That's not for me to answer, that's for the person who sent to the media. It's,
We tried to print it, there were one ordinance, one resolution. We sent the email September 29 or something like that. So one resolution, the ordinance is that talk about the pilot program funding school. Okay? There was a last time we have a concern, so we pulled it out and we tried to resubmit it. That's what was it. We sent a letter to the city, the corporation council. We like to have resubmitted that one, original one, what we have there. And we get the weeks later, we get the response from them. She want to know detailed information, what was it. So we sent it, we got nothing changed. We're gonna put in the resubmitted, rejected same one as last time. That's what was it. Okay, so now another one, we asked a resolution about that, I hate to say that disclosure tape recording regarding some issue. Just simply we say that, okay? And the resolution actually we give them both, actually law department to ask them submit it to put in our agenda. That's what they said. Now, unfortunately, this city council, we don't have our own council, so we have to depend city corporation council. We got to look at the any ordinance or resolution not violating state statutes. So that's what we want to do. Okay, so that's simple. That's what it is. Now,
That's not the question.
what was it?
Why is Terrence McDonald?
Oh, very simple. I will explain to you. Because after we sent to September 29, we got no response whatsoever.
So what is Terrence McDonald?
Oh, so what we did a press release. Press release is part of it. Nothing wrong with the city council members have a press release. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Why? Was there something wrong? No.
Well, the one thing I do want to say is the law department is very responsive to you, councilman, at all times. And I don't know if there's ever an instance where there's any kind of delay. It is purely inadvertent, or it may be because something's more complicated. It's possible something got lost, but you get very good service from the law department, in my opinion.
I guess I would just add that I think with regard to, look, you wouldn't be the first person to put out a press release about an ordinance or a resolution that you put forward, but I guess I would suggest that doing it on the email that includes professional staff of the city probably isn't the best choice, I would say, right? If you issue your own press release separately, I don't think anybody would say, but it kind of puts them under an unnecessary microscope as professionals of the city in terms of what they're trying to just do the job.
Yeah, that doesn't provide some additional incentive for the law department to now hurry up because you have Terrence McDonald copied, and that's kind of the insult. Maybe I should be the opposite.
Maybe that's what you think. Maybe their side, but my side is that we try this council, not all, but some council members try to bring up to find out the formula for school funding. And this council want to try to make sure that this city come out as a transparency. So we're going to ask for this kind of resolution to clear for all those things. Our effort is very clear. Our effort is right for the electors and also taxpayer. What's wrong with that?
Because you're not using this is not our effort here. You included somebody else that's not part of our effort, and then you say that it's Councilman Boggiano and Councilman Chris Gadsden. That's my point. My point is you're dragging people into an unnecessary area where you should trust the law department that has not failed you yet.
Only Joey.
Okay, all right. So we left off at
3F.
3F, which is the bond ordinance. Do we have any questions on 3F?
Yes, I have a question. This is in response to the council accepting the Environmental Infrastructure Trust agreement from the Director Stamato came to the council a few meetings ago, and where he is applying to that low-interest loan program to replenish our street sweeper fleet. And this is in response to that. This is step one to get that process moving.
If we spend the $2.6 million, how many street sweeper machines we can purchase?
I'm going to ask Director Stamato. This came at the last minute. He asked us to put this together. I should have had him here to answer that, unless Steve knows.
I don't know the number.
Okay.
I should check.
You know, we'll have that answer for you by tomorrow morning, tomorrow before the council meeting.
And also,
Councilman
Right.
okay, Bob, okay?
Yes, sir.
We expect, when we talk of 2017 city budget and the mention to that, you know, I'm not going to take what you say, around we expect $40 to $50 million surplus 2017. So instead we spend the surplus what we expected, $40 to $50 million, while we have to be bond $2.6 million, that's cost for taxpayer bonding which is almost $150,000. Can you explain to me?
The issue here is that a majority of that money will be reimbursed immediately for the Environmental Infrastructure Trust Program. So this will be a short-term investment on this, just to get the ball rolling. But, you know, they will reimburse us most, if not all, of our costs associated with this program, minus maybe some administrative fees. So it'll be a short-term outlay of this debt. But
then we should be not issue a bond. Because we better use our surplus, which is no interest, no principal involved, use our surplus. When they get reimbursed, we fill. But if we issue bond, the cost of tax be $150,000. So to me, issue a bond for $2.6 million, which is you're going to get the reimbursed, it doesn't make any sense. And also we got another problem is that we hired a financial consulting company, City of Jersey City. Every time he make a consulting to related with the bond issue, he make a commission of the bond too. I mean, when I see that, it's wrong. Because the way you describe it, we're going to get reimbursed from the state or federal, whatever is environmental fund or whatever. Then we should be not.
we'll probably issue notes instead of not bonds because it's short term. So the costs with the professionals will be a lot less than normal.
But still.
Okay.
You know, $2.6 million, the interest we're not going to earn the $150,000 for that. Because our cost was to issue bond $150,000. Actually, it's not a smart way to borrow the money. I don't think so. I support that they purchase that street sweeper machine. I'm not against that purchase street sweepers. You know, so maybe 10, 20, whatever it is. I'm not against that project. I'm against it while we have to finance it, while meantime we're going to have a...
You cannot just spend from our surplus, you know, haphazardly. You have to create a budget appropriation because we didn't create this in our budget when we adopted. I can't just suddenly say, you know what, I'm going to use $2.6 million to buy street. This would be something you have to push into 2018 then. And create a budget appropriation line on.
Now it's October. We spend almost two-thirds of budget we spend already. You know what I'm saying?
75%.
75%, that's what I'm saying. We expect almost $40 million surplus we expect, then we spend 75%, but there, in other words, we're going to have 75% of 40 million, how many is it, two-thirds, almost $30 million surplus somewhere in Jersey City. Then we should use that.
That's not the way the budget operates, Councilman.
Doesn't matter actually, but this is what it is. $2.6 million is not a whole lot of money. Instead to spend $150,000 fee for the financing, we should use that 2.6 million as a part of a maybe $30 million surplus, and then we save $150,000. $150,000 a lot of money. We can put a lot of community program for the certain area. You know, they're desperate. We can use that kind of money more wisely. Okay. So tell the Pat I'm not against it. I support it. I'd like to have a new street sweeper machine, but the financing we should be not financing for bond. It doesn't make any sense. Okay.
I'll talk with the CFO.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Alrighty. Questions on second readings? Hearing none. Resolutions.
like his style. Okay. 10A. So 10A is a resolution requesting the approval of the Director of the Division of Local Government Services to establish a dedicated trust by rider for the Department of Recreation to accept donations, support various recreation programs and events. 10B is a resolution authorizing the business administrator to execute a discharge of a blanket mortgage for 63-65 Fleet Street Development LLC and substitute an individual mortgage and note for certain affordable housing units affecting property known as 63-65 Fleet Street to be held in escrow until closing. 10C is a resolution authorizing the business administrator to execute a discharge of mortgage affecting 80 Pearsall Avenue, aka Block 29403, Lot 32, formerly known as Block 1422, Lot 21.DUP. 10D is a resolution authorizing the extension of time to complete the conditions of sale affecting Block 27003, Lot 16, location 12 Cornell Place. 10E is a resolution celebrating the 135th anniversary of the Baptist Church. 10F is a resolution recognizing and congratulating Our Lady of Victory's Church on the occasion of their 100th anniversary. 10G is being withdrawn. 10H was covered earlier. 10I is a resolution authorizing the City of Jersey City Office of Emergency Management and Homeland Security to accept a grant from the United States Department of Homeland Security and New Jersey Office of Homeland Security Preparedness through the Urban Area Security Initiative Grant Program. 10J through 10O was touched on earlier. 10P is a resolution authorizing the claims resolution and settlement agreement with Message One Inc. for access and export of city archives. 10Q is a resolution authorizing the award of a contract to CDW Government for purchase and delivery of hard drives for the Department of Public Safety Communications Technology Center through the National Intergovernmental Purchasing Alliance. 10R was touched on earlier. 10S is a resolution resolution awarding a professional service agreement with Vesha Jackson Law Group, LLC, to act as a third-party hearing officers for the City of Jersey City in various disciplinary actions. 10T is... Go ahead. What's up?
10S. Anyway, we can get here some list of the city employee who get disciplinary action issues, any, you know, because we spend some dollars for 10S.
So this is hiring a neutral party to hear cases disciplinary cases that elevate to the process where the employee requests a hearing. In the past, years ago, there had been some city employees that engaged as hearing officers, but some of the cases got very complex and litigious and kind of scared off some of the employees who want to be involved in that process. So we thought it'd be better to hire a neutral on the outside to kind of give us a better legal standing, and if in the event the case went to the next step, which would be a court case. And the neutral in this instance only makes here's the case and makes a recommendation, and the appointed authority can take or reject or amend the recommendation.
So,
okay.
What's that? Yeah.
10C is a resolution reauthorizing a professional service agreement with the law firm Chasen, Lamparello, Mallon, and Capuzzo, PC, to represent the City of Jersey City in the matter of the City of Jersey City versus PPG Industries, Inc. 10U is a resolution authorizing the amendment of professional service agreement with Bianca Camaro, did I say that right? And Di Stefano to represent the City of Jersey City in various workers' compensation matters filed against the City of Jersey City. 10V is a resolution authorizing the waiver of meter parking fees in certain municipal lots from November 25th through December 31st, 2017, in order to encourage economic activity in the commercial areas. 10W is a resolution authorizing the waiver of the 20-day waiting period prior to the effective date of City Ordinance 17-135, supplementing Chapter 332, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 8, Permit Parking, amending Section 332-58, Parking Restrictions in Residential Zones of the Jersey City Traffic Code, extending Zone 2 Residential Parking Permit Program to include Mountain Road. The rest of the items were touched on earlier. May I have a motion?
Nope.
Oh, hold on.
One last thing, the next, the meeting in November, what date is it on?
15th.
The 15th. It conflicts with, the council should know, the League of Municipalities, if folks are intending to participate in that. And so the question is whether or not to maintain the same dates, right, or change it, but we would have to do that at by resolution at a council meeting.
Probably the next council meeting.
At the next council meeting. So we can
try to decide on what date we're going to want to switch that to. We don't want to go the day before, because we have a caucus on that Monday, which would be the 13th. So we can do Tuesday the 14th for the actual meeting.
When does the...
Conference is the 14th, 15th, and 16th.
Right.
So you may want to see what your plans are for those couple days.
So may I ask if you share whatever your thoughts are on that, share with Margaret, and then we'll try to figure this out before the next meeting. Councilman Yun?
Can we invite the Human Resource Department Director, the council meeting tomorrow? Can we do that? Yeah.
Is there a specific?
Yes, regarding for the disciplinary action. So what kind of, what they have to do, putting the disciplinary action for the certain city employee. You know, so I'd like to know is the rules and regulation to follow those things. I gotta ask you.
Disciplinary action for
Yeah.
redevelopment?
No, not the city employee.
Or city...
Is there a specific case you're looking at?
Yes.
At a council meeting?
Are we talking about a specific individual or case? That can't be discussed in...
Disciplinary actions.
Come to the next caucus meeting so we can have a general conversation rather than...
Okay?
Yes.
So we can ask questions, yeah.
Yes, okay. All right.
You can't do that.
All right.
With that all being said, may I have a motion to adjourn at 7:25 p.m.? Motion made by Councilperson Waterman, seconded by Council President. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. We are out of here. Good night.
Night.